And you never knew who you were going to be with, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so what kind of gigs were they? Were they with
like
known...
top 40 bands,
okay.
you know. You do the top 20, top 40 songs, and we'd all have to get together and rehearse in somebody's basement. And there'd be a lot of arguing and cussing. Folks would be, oh, you ain't singing the right words. We'd be arguing about who sang the right thing, and then we'd play the record, and I'd be right. And we'd be like, okay, we ain't going to argue with you no more.
Oh, God.
You know, that kind of stuff.
So was it for a period of, each period of time, would it be a band you were consistently working with, or was it sort of like freelancing, like going all over the map?
Because musicians at that time were just happy to get a gig.
Right.
And for me, I was sort of like, I could learn stuff really fast, so if somebody's singer dropped out, I could kind of come in, or if somebody had an attitude problem, they wanted to fire him, I would go in. And, you know, according to who was paying more at the time, that's whose gig you took.
Yeah.
Because everybody was more concerned about trying to pay rent and eat.
Yeah.
So, you know, you tried to be professional about it. It's like once you took a gig, you couldn't all of a sudden cancel it because somebody else called you for a bigger gig. It wasn't kind of like the cool thing to do.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, so...
Were you... Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, were you still in school when you started doing it professionally?
I was in Queens College for 2 years, and I was taking up, I was trying to get a Bachelor of Music degree, and I would do like lots of opera and theory classes and stuff like that. And so in between, at night, I would like have like a part-time job. If I could get a gig, I would get one, but it just got so hectic with the schedules and stuff like that.
Yeah.
To sleep and do homework, and it was just too much. So
yeah,
I just felt like I didn't really have the money to stay in school, so I dropped out of school. And then I just started working in the clubs. That was what I focused on, and just started like getting Backstage magazine, which is like a local
right
here, and I think it was Showbiz. And Backstage, and you know,
but they have the ads for
the
musicians and everything.
And it was difficult because, you know, at that time I didn't know anything about AFTRA or SAG or any of the union stuff.
Yeah.
So you'd have to go to things that were non-union. It was just crazy. But, you know, that's how I ended up finding the crystals.
And how did you met the people that you started working with just through going through the papers and stuff, or did you go just knocking on doors and...
I went to clubs. Yeah, I started looking through Backstage magazine, I think, and that's how I ended up meeting other singers, and then they go, oh, you're really good, you want to sing for blah, 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 blah? Oh, you want to hang out at this club, they're having music there, and you just do that musician hang.
Yeah.
And then you come up and maybe sing a song. It's kind of like your audition, but they're not really telling you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You go up there, can't she sing, or is she going to get like some ice thrown in her?
Yeah, okay.
You know.
Seen that happen, and that's not a good feeling.
It's not. And you can be good, too. It's just something about you they didn't like that day.
It's just the mood.
Exactly.
Wow. So how did you end up doing something like Shades of Love where you were a lead vocalist?
That was, too, from a Backstage magazine.
Oh, really?
That was like my little Bible to get work. I ended up meeting a girl named Fran Johnson. She does a lot of local stuff, or did a lot of local stuff in New York. And we ended up auditioning for the group, and there was like different girls. They put them together, and they threw 3 strange girls in the studio, and you know, I sang background, and I you know, my voice was really, really high then. Yeah. And they were just like, well, that's a novelty. It's like, you don't really want her to sing lead, but it's definitely a novelty. You can definitely use that. But the other girl, and I can't think of her name right now, there was one called Penny. And the other girl, I can't think of her name, the lead singer, but she was excellent, both of them, really.
See, I don't know, because this CD, the way they have packaged it, it's as if it's a reissue of an original album. But from the sounds of it, it seems like they're tracks assembled from a number of years, because I'm sure you also know that song they did later, Keep in Touch, Body to Body, with Melissa Morgan. Yeah. But you weren't in there at that point, right?
No, it was really weird, because we were the first Shades of Love, and then the group broke up. And then I just started like looking for other work and stuff. And I didn't really love the manager. I just thought he was really slimy. I can't think of his name. He's passed away since, bless his heart. But,
yeah.
Lonnie Johnson was his name.
Oh, yeah, I see. Produced by Patrick Adams and Lonnie Johnson for Scorp Gemini Records.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Lonnie had passed away, I forget, maybe 10 years ago by now.
But, oh, okay.
You know, back then everybody was young and crazy, and, you know, I didn't like him.
Dealing with it, yeah.
So you just... like, I'm not, you know, I was coming from like a classical background. It's like, you know, people need to sing in tune,
Oh yeah.
And I don't like some of these records I'm hearing now, and you know, I had a bit of a college attitude.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You know, folks are like
a little bit of an elitist.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, y'all can't hear that. That's out of tune.
Oh my God, yeah.
You know, but I still was developing. There was still a lot I needed to learn.
Do you have perfect pitch?
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's maddening when
you could be driven crazy fairly easily, I guess.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And
so after that, I guess you concentrated on doing just the backups for a while.
Yeah, and then I think Lonnie ended up getting the group back together again, and then, you know, like you put an ad in the paper and you audition a bunch of girls, and I guess that's how Melissa Morgan got into it.
Yeah.
She's an excellent singer.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I was curious about the Xena on the upside, because...
that was a long story, but go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you what I know, and then you can tell me, you know, your version. Well, because one of the things I'd heard, well, obviously you put that record out on Emergency, but I also heard that you performed as Shannon.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's how I ended up doing the Xena records. It was very weird because, what was the girl's name that... Shannon. Is her real name Shannon?
Her name's Brenda Shannon Green. That's her full name, as far as I know.
Absolutely. Great singer as well.
Yeah.
I forget the names of the producers right now.
Lagosa, Mark Liggett and Chris Barbosa.
Mark Liggett.
Yeah.
Mark and Chris, that's right. Okay. You gotta excuse me.
No,
it's
like okay.
Someone else's lifetime ago. You know?
Yeah.
So I ended up I started to do more studio work, right?
Right.
Did the Crystals, then I did the Marvelettes because it was sort of like a circuit.
Oh, okay.
So I ended up leaving the Crystals because they weren't working enough this particular year. I can't remember what year it was.
Well, I know On the Upside came out in 83.
83. So this had to be...
Probably like 82 or something.
Maybe even earlier than that. I did the Marvelettes for a while, and I kept doing studio work in between, so I was starting to get known in the studio more. So then, and I wasn't touring a whole lot. Like, if we toured, it would be like a weekend thing, a couple of days. I wouldn't be staying away a month or two. So
right.
I still do all the studio work. So I ended up meeting Mark and Chris, and at the time, I think Shannon wasn't happy with whatever was going on.
Yeah.
And they needed someone to do the gigs.
Right.
Or either she didn't, I don't know what the problem was, either she didn't want to do any, what do they call it, track dates?
Yeah.
Because some singers...
With lip syncing, you mean?
Yeah. Well, some would lip sync, and ones who could really sing would actually have the music track and sing
live.
The track at a club.
Right.
So, but then what would happen is, say you get paid anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000 for the night.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty lucrative for the people who were arranging it, but a lot of times they weren't honest with the artist as to how much.
Right, how much they really made.
So I don't know what happened. I don't know the story behind that, but she ended up not wanting to do them, and all these gigs were coming up.
Yeah.
So I think I did some background stuff. No, I ended up doing the Xena project, and no, I can't remember which one I did. I think it was Shannon. I was doing the Shannon dates first.
Yeah.
On the outside. Yep, I started Shannon first, and then they started. I was like, oh, okay, well, let's do a new...
So you were going around basically lip-syncing to her vocal, or you were actually singing?
I think I lip-synced it because I didn't sound anything like her.
Yeah, because I was going to say, you guys have much different voices.
Absolutely.
And that was a really big song. I mean,
yeah,
that was...
It was huge.
You know, like... Well, a big beginning of the whole electro dance thing, sort of setting that off.
And I think I had only done maybe, couldn't have been more than 5 gigs.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't have been more. And a lot of times we do like 2 and 3 in one night. It was like, it might have been a weekend or something like that. It really wasn't a lot.
Wasn't like a long stretch or anything. So do you remember where? Was that like places like the garage or stuff like that?
It might have been, I don't remember where. They would put me in a car. They'd drive me up to some street. It would be crazy. A lot of people would be sitting outside. I knew nothing about clubs because I didn't hang out at clubs.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think one was the garage. Was there one with a long walkway, almost like a...
You know, I don't know, since I'm not from here.
That's right.
And I was like 5 years old.
Oh,
but the places I've heard about just through reading is like the Paradise Garage, the Danceteria.
Yeah. We went to Long Island. We did all the, like, not all, I guess maybe 2 in Manhattan and 1 in Long Island and something like that. It was just crazy. To me, it was just all so new.
Yeah.
And I'd walk in and I'd do it and I'd leave. They'd pay me, you know, $1,000 a night, and I thought I was doing something. You know?
Yeah.
But back then, that was a lot of money to me.